You ain't never seen a man turn leg gold with his hands. You ain't never seen a man get a queen wet with a glance. Water turn wine, whole wide world mine in my mind. In and out of time, my light shine bright for the blind. Something about the way I do it. 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 Said I'm gonna be a millionaire soon, but I already knew it. I'm a death of bullets fluid. All this winter therapeutic. Something about the way I do it. Something about the way I do it. They be trying to drain my energy up with the battery is not included. Women trying to be recruited. Let them do it, then I bought it. What is cute, then she fooled it. Something about the way I do it. I remember playing ring around the rosy. Now I got a pocket full of OZs. Water dollars, wallet full of old cheese. Got a Glock, a cock and pop a police. Block a boom, shaka laka, bada shot him while he rock a rosary. Got your mama watching out the nosebleed. Sloppy toppy while I'm trying to go sleep. Something about the way I do it. I ball out like a nudist hooping. Or a who's your student? Got a problem, I'm a Rubik's Cubit. I'm a superhuman, you a decorator.
Peace, family, and welcome to another episode Underground Railroad Productions. This is your host, Brother Rich. Joining me once again for the so-called New Year, Professor Griff, the living legend, man. Welcome back to the show. Haven't had it with you for a couple of weeks, brother. Welcome back, brother.
Oh, give thanks. Yeah, it's been a few weeks, man, but it's good to take a breather, step back away from it, see what's going on inside of it, then reapproach it with a breath of fresh air. Yeah, so it's a good thing. And you're right, it's a so-called New Year, but nonetheless, millions of people feel that they're on the flip side of this thing in 2018. But as you know, we have our own time signature as far as the original people. So we're going to deal with it, even in this time. Even in this dispensation, we're going to deal with it.
Indeed, man. Well, I first of all, it's been real cold in New York, Professor Griff. I mean, it's been cold, man. It's been freezing in New York, man. It feels like Alaska up here right now, brother. I mean,
see, we can't do what we do to the earth and the planet and expect it to, to be normal. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They setting off bombs and testing bombs and doing this, that, and the other, and they think it's not going to throw this thing off. It's definitely throwing it off, man. So it's been freezing. It's been freezing in Atlanta.
In Atlanta, yeah, I heard all the way down to Florida. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
crazy, man. Well, I'm gonna tell you, Professor Griff. I woke up this morning, and I went on my Instagram, and three things I kept seeing. I kept seeing people talk about on Instagram, and on the news and everywhere. Everybody talking about Fire and Fury, the new book about Trump and what goes on in the White House.
Right.
Everybody's talking about Oprah Winfrey and how she might run for president 2020, the Golden Globe Awards. Also, everybody was talking about H&M ad that recently surfaced that featured a young black kid, dark-skinned fella, with a green sweatshirt that read "Coolest Monkey in the Jungle." On that same website, they had a young white gentleman with a shirt that read "Mangrove Jungle Survival Expert." So, people, I mean, The Weeknd, he actually, he gets paid to model H&M clothing. He said he's not working with them no more. He said, this is crazy. Everybody from LeBron, the memes that are out there are great, man. They changed the sweater. They put a crown on a young black kid head. They put greatness on his shirt and royal and all these little cool memes, just to change the image. So that's pretty dope. But the celebrities really came out to just really talk about this and show how disconnected H&M is from culture. So I said, man, I got to talk about this with Professor Griff because image is extremely important, as we know and some of us don't know, and that's what we're hopefully here to talk about and help you to understand how important image is. So with that being said, Professor Griff, I guess to start out the show, brother, is this because we went through this last year. There was an ad with Dove soap, a black female. She washed off her face. She washed her face and she turned white, and she was happy and clean and beautiful.
Right.
Before that, we had the Pepsi thing where I forgot what happened with the protest, and they drunk a protest, and I guess the police stopped killing blacks. So I forgot exactly what happened. I don't want to mess it up. But there was a situation with Pepsi. So it seems like we have something every year with these companies where they're just completely clueless about what's going on in society. So to start out with, Professor Griff, I want to ask you, do you consider this to be an act of racism? Is this just an example of, this is the sweetest company, H&M. Is this just an example of somebody who's culturally clueless, or is this an example of a marketing genius, somebody who say, you know what, even Professor Griff and Brother Rich is going to talk about this, so I'm gonna do this, and this is going to bring awareness to my brand. How do you see this, Professor Griff?
Yeah, but it may bring a negative awareness to your brand. This conversation about it is not necessarily positive, where they're going to have a positive outcome. It could have an adverse effect, which is happening. And I'm glad the people, the entertainers, and just the people in general are stepping up to the plate. It shows and proves that we're becoming a lot more awake and aware and sensitive to what's going on in reference to how we're being portrayed throughout the world. And no, this is not a smart marketing genius that did this. This is diabolical. This is deliberate. And we need to understand it as such. That's exactly what it is. It's deliberate. It's deliberate because that has to get someone's okay. You understand? So you got to okay that. That's not something some smart-ass, freckle-faced white girl doing in the back room somewhere. This is deliberate, Brother Rich. And I think we need to look at it as such and kind of deal with it as such. H&M is not one of those brands that we don't necessarily have to live with, so to speak. You understand what I'm saying? But they are in the malls. They do affect young people. They did have a couple of people on the payroll that endorse their products. We need to understand it as such and deal with it as such.
Indeed.
Branding is everything. I'm sitting in front of Wally World right now, and just the main Walmart with the, their little 6 little sun rays. That's their brand. That's their logo, and they protect that. You understand what I'm saying? And they paid to get that, and they paid to build this brand, and this is what happens, Brother Rich. This is their brand, and they have brand loyalty. You and I have talked about this before. Brand loyalty.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Now, I've people are saying that the kid's mother responded and said that she doesn't have a problem with it and that we should find something better to do with our time. I don't know if that story is 100% accurate, but that's what's being spread on the internet right now. I remember last year with the Dove thing, the black female who was in the ad saying, well, they didn't force me to do it. This is my choice. There's nothing wrong with me doing this commercial. She didn't see anything wrong with it as well. So I'm hearing, in response to that, I'm hearing people say, if there was they think if there couldn't have been a father at home. It's impossible, Griff, because if there was a man in the household, he wouldn't have allowed his son to go out there with the coolest monkey in the jungle sweatshirt. So my question to you, Professor Griff, is if this is true, just like it was true last year with the sister that said, she doesn't have a problem with it, do you think that gender responds differently to racism? Like, whether it's a black man or a black woman or a Hispanic man or a Hispanic woman or Asian man or an Asian woman, when they're where racism is inflicted on them, does gender play a role in how we respond? And why I ask you that is because, there's always this thing where people say, the black men always say, I'm not working for the white man, so I'm going to stand out here and sell incense. And they like, sisters ain't standing out there to sell incense. She going to go in there and get a job. So does gender play a role in how we respond to these situations, you think, Professor Griff?
I think it depends on what the situation is. Racism overall, we respond as original people. We respond to the degree that we've been affected by it. But when you talk about a specific situation, when it comes to sons and daughters and that kind of thing, I think gender, I think educational level, I think political awareness, I think a lot of these things, when you take them into an account, and you have to account for these things, they play a role in people's decision on how they're going to kind of deal with racism, white supremacy. Of course, not overall, Brother Rich, not just in general. That's not the first thing. The people's first response is, oh, I'm saying it's because I'm a woman. I'm saying it's because I'm a black woman. I'm saying it's because I'm an Asian woman. All right? Racism, white supremacy overall, when you go to deal with it, you have to deal with it for what it is because it doesn't differentiate. It just doesn't. It doesn't differentiate between whether you white or you black. When I first looked at the little boy in the hoodie, I was like, the first question that came to my mind is, who okayed that on the H&M side? And then where's his mother and father? Mm-hmm. Because somebody had to green light that. Someone had to sign off on that. And those were the first things that came to mind because someone has to be responsible for that. Someone's getting the paycheck for it, right or wrong?
Indeed, yeah.
Okay, well, someone has to be responsible for it, Brother Rich. And that's my take on it. So when you say just the black women or just gender have to play a role in people's decision on how they're going to counteract racism, white supremacy, I only say to a small degree. To a small degree. That's it. Everything else plays a part, but yeah. You think that check played a part? and how the mom responded? Come on, man. Racism and white supremacy has enough money in the bank to persuade a lot of people, bro.
Let's say, Professor Griff, I'm a middle-aged white guy. I'm 35, and I say, Professor Griff, I might leave a comment, and I say, Professor Griff, if the situation was reversed and the young black kid had the survival expert hoodie on and the white kid had the coolest monkey in the jungle hoodie on, I don't think Griff, LeBron James, P. Diddy, and everybody else that's tweeting and posting about it will be that upset. So I don't see what the outrage is about. In fact, this might be a double standard that's going on because you guys wouldn't be that outraged if it was in reverse. So what would you say to that type of comment?
First of all, it would really truly be a situation where the dad in me would kick in, the granddad would kick in. Like, wow, that shirt is not cool. You understand what I'm saying? There was a shirt on a mannequin in the store. I forgot which store this was. But it was just one of those kind of shirts that it kind of bothered me to the core. And I said, when I come back past this store, I'm going to go in the mall and say something, go in that store and say something. I just said to myself, like, what's the sense? They're not going to take it down. I'm not going to take it off. Whoever's the buyer for that store decided to buy those dozen shirts to put them in there. You understand what I'm saying? But it's very difficult to answer that question, Brother Rich. It's like, if white people have enough of their history, enough of who and what they are, to see beyond a T-shirt like that or a hoodie like that, then good. Kudos to them. But when racism and white supremacy is intact and it's affecting us the way it do, yeah, it's a whole different story, Brother Rich.
Okay.
It's a whole different story. It truly is, man. And I'm just saying the dad in me who kicked in, I'll ask questions, but what can I possibly do about that, man? I'm going to protest for the white people and say, no, the white people have all of that intact, though. You understand what I'm saying? They have their culture intact because they have things in the culture that will counteract that on its own. God forbid if a white mob started protesting, oh man, they'll get the company shut down because there's enough of them to put the right pressure on the right people to make it happen. We just don't have that infrastructure in place, Brother Rich.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
indeed. Now, H&M apologized, of course, just like all the ads, the brands usually apologize the day after they get backlash. And what I want to ask you is that is it possible, like I said, this is a Swedish company. They may not have historical knowledge. Let's just use that for this instance. But is it possible for somebody to consciously, I'm the head of a company, consciously, I'm not trying to be racist consciously, but subconsciously, I may do extremely racist things. But my intention was good, Professor Griff. My intention was not to offend black people. So is it possible for me to be consciously not a racist, but subconsciously a racist, Professor Griff?
Well, that's part of Dr. Francis Cress Walton's definition, consciously or subconsciously determined. They do these things.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? But when brought to their attention, some of them honestly might say, oh, man, I didn't know this would offend you guys. And then they'll make do. And those are the ones we give the pass to. It's the other ones that say, no, this statue is not coming down because it's part of my heritage. But what if we say, no, your heritage is hate? And it has to come down. This is what this flag means. This is what this symbol means. This is what these phrases mean. This is what you're doing. This is what this means. And it's hate. So it has to come down. So that would be their argument, Brother Rich. Mm-hmm. And we'd have to deal with it accordingly. It's like, we can honestly say so-and-so didn't mean that in a malicious kind of way, and then deal with it accordingly. I can honestly say black people do jump the gun sometime and be like, okay, and quick to judge because of what has happened to us in the past. And you don't find a lot of people white people apologizing for what their ancestors have done. Some are sensitive, some do. Some want to make do and make good. Some of them don't care. Some of them just don't care.
Mm-hmm. Mm. I was reading a post from David Banner. Because, when something like this happens, people immediately use the term boycott. And David Banner tweeted, "Why boycott? Stop effing with them forever." In situations like this to happen over and over again, is a boycott something that you see as something that we should do, a temporary boycott to teach them a lesson, or once they make a mistake like this, Griff, they're cut off forever? Well, do you agree with David Banner?
This is not a mistake, Brother Rich.
Mm-hmm.
Error. I don't know how you define error versus a mistake. One of them are an intentional departure from the truth. And you and I have to grow in the use of this language to understand this is intentional and deliberate. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
So David Banner is 1,000% correct. After this, I don't shop at the place, but occasionally I might go in if I'm with my daughter or my granddaughter.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But no, after this, they will never, ever, ever get any of my money, ever. No. No, not at all. Mm-mm. Mm. For what? I'm paying for them to insult me? Nah. Not at all. And then somebody needs to go talk to the parent of the little boy that had the hoodie on. We need to deal with it from both ends. Shake her ass and ask her, what the hell is your problem? All of us need money, Brother Rich. Well, not all of us, not Jay-Z and Beyonce built an $88 million home.
Well, what if the mother, and we've talked about this on previous show, what if the mother tells you, well, Professor Griff, self-preservation is the first law of nature. I need the money. What are you going to say to that?
I say find some other way to get the money. Stop prostituting your son and selling your son short as a monkey in the goddamn jungle.
Mm-hmm.
Because this will last a lot longer than that paycheck. A lot longer than the paycheck, for real, bro. This the rest of his life. Am I right or wrong?
Indeed, yeah.
After that paycheck is spent, he gonna have to say, damn, when I'm 20 years old, look back, That was my career. That's how I started my modeling career off, as a monkey, being portrayed as a monkey.
Now, Professor Griff, do you think this is like a time-sensitive situation where, with black people, and wearing these shirts with monkeys on it? Like, let's say 1,000, 2,000 years from now, do you think we will still be offended by seeing somebody black wearing a shirt with a monkey on it? Will it still remind us of slavery 1,000 years from now? Is it just that it's too soon, it's too close from everything, Jim Crow, slavery, segregation, lynching, everything that happened in America? Will it change 1,000 years? Will it be defined as, it won't have that same definition, Professor Griff?
It probably won't have the same sting, Brother Rich, but we will have a infrastructure in place and institutions in place where we will beat those things back. You understand what I'm saying? To the point where they lose the sting that they have. Those things won't insult us and offend us the way they do. Because right now, you and I could get into a deep conversation about anthropology. We can talk about genetics. We can get super deep, and we can see who really looks like a monkey. But that may offend some people. You understand what I'm saying? I have to show you graphs and charts and pictures, and it's like, wow, okay. But Professor Griff will get written off as a hater. You hate white people, all this other kind of stuff. If you really want to tell the truth about it. You understand what I'm saying? But this is not a childish conversation for us to be on there calling names and that kind of thing. That's why I said if we want to go deep and need to go deep, we can. And in some cases, people will, because of this, and show and prove these things. But just on the surface, as far as H&M's brand is concerned, bad move, man. Bad move. Bad career move.
For people that have this concept that, it's hard to know somebody's experience or to understand somebody's experience if you didn't experience. You come from a totally different culture. Sometimes, like you said, this obviously appeared to be deliberate. But for those that say, it's only offensive if you agree with the racists that black people look like gorillas. Like if somebody says Professor Griff is they can say Professor Griff looks like a robot or is a homosexual, and you may not agree with that statement, so you may not get offended by that statement. You may just laugh it off. So some people are laughing this off. So do you think it's only offensive to us because, but in this, I'm just playing devil's advocate. Is it only offensive because, somewhere deep in our subconscious, we kind of agree with it that black people look like monkeys?
Now we got to get deep, Brother Rich.
Okay.
Not really deep. They've used these kinds of things, as Tom Burrell teaches us in his book, Brainwash, as Ma'afi 21 teaches us, as Dr. Francis Cresswell and other people teach us. It's like this is the low before the storm. Check Darwin's theory. Check out what Hitler did. Check out what some of these other people, Margaret Sanger and all these other people have done to us based on this whole belief that we're savages, that we're not human. So they wrote us in as monkeys, so when they went to kill us, they weren't killing humans, they were killing animals. So we have to understand the depth of the psyche of the individual that would do this, Brother Rich, and what did it lead to in history, and what will it lead to in the present, and what would it lead to in the future. That's how we have to look at it, Brother Rich. I don't believe when I first saw the Hoodie, I don't believe that that's true about black people. But I know what they've been teaching in the educational system about black people in reference to being subhuman, how we come from apes, It's a I guess mankind evolved from apes. That's their thing. I never bought into that. You understand what I'm saying? They're the ones that talk about, I'll be a monkey's uncle. You understand? That's their language, not mine. I'm not the uncle to the monkey. So we have to kind of look at that for what it really is. It actually leads to our death and actually leads to genocide, that kind of thinking, Brother Rich.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to study that. Margaret Sanger, Hitler, King Leopold. We have to study these. I think I got time for one more question, Brother Rich.
Okay, cool. In terms of real quick, just a side note. This is just a side note. I find it funny. OJ is threatening a hotel in Las Vegas with a racial prejudice lawsuit, $100 million racial lawsuit prejudice. This is the guy who said over and over again that he's not black, he's OJ.
He's not black, right. They said, I was racial and you OJ. You not black.
Oh, man, this stuff is hilarious, man. You just got to be honest with yourself, people. You just got to be honest with yourself. But anyway, last question, Professor Griff. In terms, people always said, when I was growing up, I dress good because it makes me feel good. Is it more important, Griff, to is this an opportunity for us to say, hey, we got to support black designers, or should we just look for clothing that makes us feel good and makes us feel powerful, Professor Griff?
All of the above, Brother Rich.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Designer, but even the black designer got to be on point. Okay. I support the black designer. I'm not going to support anyone that just comes up with a hoodie with a saying on it that's disrespecting black people, because you don't find Jewish people letting that fly. Right. No other people let that fly. When is that same designer? Let's ask that designer to come up with a T-shirt that says, "I'm the coolest or the flyest kite in the jungle." Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Or the flyest rock, or some other derogatory term in reference to Jewish people or Italian people or Irish people. You understand what I'm saying? They do that to us because they know how we're going to respond. Some of us are going to be like, oh, that's something better to do at your time. Some of us are going to protest. Some of us say, oh, man, I'm glad he's making money. At least he's doing something positive. These lame-ass excuses, man. Mm-hmm. No, we need to stand together and defend us as a people. Defend our people and defend our culture. And I'm not going for it, plain and simple.
Indeed, man. Well, we know you're on the road, Professor Griff. Why don't you leave the people your contact info? They haven't heard from you from a while on the channel. Let them know what you got going on for the new year, Professor Griff.
Well, Brother Rich, I started the production on my film, The Oculus. Mm-hmm. And, of course, people can donate at www.paypal.me/Professor Griff Corporation if they want to donate to the film, The Oculus. Inshallah, hopefully it's out in August. And, of course, I'm still doing a study group every Wednesday night, man. I haven't been visible on social media for a minute because I found myself giving, and all this energy giving and not receiving anything back. Right, I'm dedicated and loyal to what I'm doing in reference to the study group for the 20-some-odd people that are on there. It's a beautiful thing. You understand what I'm saying? Because I get to educate people directly and we get to study and make sense of all of this. But people can always donate, or they could sponsor somebody to be in the study group if they can't come on Wednesday night. They can just contact me at 678-557-2919, Brother Rich. Black History Month is about to start, so I'm traveling around the country with the Black History 101 Mobile Museum. So go to blackhistory101mobilemuseum.com and check out the tour schedule. All right?
Indeed. And for everybody, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And if you made it to this point, that means you definitely enjoyed the show. And I'm thankful for you making it to this point. Please support the show. Donations are extremely important. This is independent media. You see, There's no more black news channels on mainstream media. Show support. Sign up to the Patreon site, patreon.com/blackmagic363, or you can donate via PayPal at, with my email address, richardmerritt7@yahoo. I'll leave that in the description bar. But support is extremely important. Keep this going. Keep this independent. and keep us, telling the truth about, as far as what's going on with our people. So I want to thank Professor Griff, starting out the new year with a bang. I definitely love the show, and we're going to see you next week, family. We signing out. Brother Rich, Professor Griff, peace.
Peace.
Hey. Yeah. Black magic. Hey. You ain't never seen a man turn leg go with his hands. You ain't never seen a man get a queen wet with a glance. Water turn wine, whole wide world, mind in my mind. In and out of time, my light shine bright for the blind. Something about the way I do it. 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 Said I'm gonna be a millionaire soon, but I already knew it. I'm a death, the bullet's fluid. All this winning therapeutic. Something about the way I do it. Something about the way I do it. They be trying to drain my energy up, but the battery is not included. Women trying to be recruited. Let them do it, then I pulled it. What is cute, then she fooled it. Something about the way I do it. I remember playing ring around the rosy. Now I got a pocket full of OZs. Water dollars, wallet full of old cheese. Got a Glock, a cock and pop a police. Block a boom, shaka laka, bada shot him while he rock a rosary. Got your mama watching out the nosebleed. Sloppy toppy while I'm trying to go sleep. Something about the way I do it, I ball out like a nudist hooping. Or a Hoosier student, got a problem, I'm a Rubik's Cuban. I'm a superhuman, you a decoration.